The Atlanta Falcons, undefeated still at this point in the season, visit the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are a 2-point favorite. VR, you have a strong opinion on this game, my friend.
I really do. Everyone knows I'm from Philly. I still call Philly home, and I've been here over 15 years. So with that said, I've never been a homer. Especially for Philly teams, I took action. I was against them every week. So the last thing I was a Philly fan for any sport. With that said, I think you're getting so much line value on the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. Besides that, I think the situation sets up beautifully for them. Let's look before the season started. If you wanted to bet this game, you had to lay 6.5 with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now you're getting them below the key number of 3 at 2.5. Money's going to come in on Atlanta. They're the hot team, but the worst thing that could happen for a hot team when they have all that momentum is a break. And when you look at both these teams, they both are coming in off a bye. That's the best thing that could have happened to the Eagles, because going into that bye, if you remember, they lost their last 2 games by a combined 5 points, and they weren't rushing the football. They rushed for 71 yards, 78 yards. This is a team that averages 124 yards per game on the ground. So they went against what they do and what's successful for them. I think the break is exactly what this team needed. Remember, they've lost some tight games, and they've won some tight games as well. I think we haven't seen the talent that the Eagles have really displayed yet. And like I said, for Atlanta, the worst thing you want to do is take a break when you're just steamrolling along. And when you look at Atlanta, this is the perfect defense for the Philadelphia Eagles. You could run up and down the field on Atlanta. And offensively, they're just too one-dimensional. They can't run the football, averaging 86 yards per game.
Definitely, yes.
Matty Ice has been a stud at home, but against the Eagles, let's not forget, they only allow 5.2 yards per play defensively, and quarterbacks only complete 52% of their passes. I think it's going to be a long afternoon for Atlanta.
Chuck Edel.
I'm really with VR here. You know, how about this stat? After a bye, Andy Reid in his 13 years with the Eagles, he's never lost a game. 13-0 after a bye week, 5-1 against the number the last 6 games.
That's a trend I'd pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things.
There's a fundamental reason for it.
Right. I hate when we're data mining, but there is.
Yeah, you could always find a trend that supports you.
But there is a reason behind that. I mean, he's very good with that much preparation.
You know, and I know another angle that I think is good. You know, of course, Philly gave up that disappointing loss before the bye to Detroit. They get rid of the defensive coordinator. Right. Now you got Todd Bowles coming there. He's never been a defensive coordinator, but I think it's an advantage here for the Eagles. Atlanta has no idea. I mean, sure, it's going to be a similar scheme, but there's going to be some new wrinkles. You can be sure that Atlanta has no idea what they're going to throw. Philly knows what they're doing, but Atlanta doesn't know what they're doing. They have no films. This guy's never done it before.
That's a great point.
It is, but one thing I do want to say about this Philly defense, though, they were very strong against the pass. I mean, no question about it.
Yeah, they got a great secondary.
They do. I mean, so, you know, and Bowles really, he was the secondary coach, so he improved that a lot. The other thing I do want to point out, I think we're looking at 2 different things here as far as money flow. Public will be all over Atlanta.
As a dog, as the undefeated team getting points against the Eagles.
And the wise guys will be on Philly. I mean, I
agree.
We're going to see a huge difference in the money in that regard.
Between sharp money and public money. I agree 100%. And I'll put the fortune teller hat on.
You're a big market reader. I know that.
I could see, without a doubt, the public money is going to be on the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm sure of it. The wise guys, professional bettors, sharps, call them what you will, they're going to see value on the Eagles at better than that key number of 3. Their goal is to get the best of the 3. If it's 2.5, that's what they want to lay. But like I said, the fortune teller hat, this is the week of the favorites. The dogs will not bark this week. This is that week. We know there's always going to be a regression to the mean. I don't think it's going to happen in 1 week, meaning we probably won't even notice it. It'll be gradual.
Yeah.
And when the season's over, all of a sudden we'll be closer to 50-50 dogs and favorites. Right. But this is that 1 week where we're going to see a lot more favorites.
All right, we've talked about it. Let's go ahead and make it official.
Atlanta at Philadelphia. I'm going to lay the points with the Eagles, both teams coming off the bye. But Eagles needed the bye to get back on track. Atlanta, worst thing that could have happened to this team. They've been rolling along at 6-0, but you look at the matchup stylistically, this is a bad matchup for Atlanta. They can't stop the run. Philly should have success running. They should have success passing, and they're going to make Atlanta one-dimensional, and that's going to make it an easy afternoon for them.
as a bookmaker, line maker, Atlanta undefeated, but they're not one of the top 5 teams in power numbers here.
No,
And there's a reason they barely beat Oakland before the bye. They got lucky to beat Carolina. They beat Washington.
Denver almost came back on.
They beat Denver before Denver was playing the way they are now. Too,
And even Washington looked like they were going to beat them until a concussion there for RG3.
And they struggled with Carolina. I mean, there's a lot of flaws in this Atlanta team. I think Matty is playing good. But running the football is going to be a huge problem. It's been a problem for Atlanta. And if they're not able to pass against a very, very good pass defense, they're going to be in trouble. And as a bookmaker, I love going in needing Philly in a game like this. So, all right. You can watch all our videos at pregame.tv. Coming up next will be my free pick on the Redskins visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers.